What's going on? It's your boy Robo Strange here with my boy Cypher. Today, check this out. It's a little bit of an old news, but we were on Twitter a couple weeks ago, right? And we know Twitter's not the healthiest place to be, but so you come across some garbage and you kind of just try to scroll past it. But this one kind of bothered me. So apparently there's some dude named Tariq Nasheed. He put up a tweet, and it showed a cop. Looks Hispanic to me from Southern California. So I'll go ahead and make an assumption that he probably is Mexican, but he's definitely dark. I'll read it off the deal. A white Hispanic race soldier shot a black man in the back today in Los Angeles and killed him. This happened in the Hoovers on 109 in Budlong. This is that black on brown coalition. Now he writes black and brown in the like SpongeBob meme mocking kind of uppercase, lowercase. So we had to do a video on this.
I mean, we just had to. So real quick, man, just to be clear, fuck Blue Lives Matter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Defund the police, divest. I mean, I'm sure that's a word. Is that a word? Let's just pretend it is, right? And yeah, also, look, our condolences to the family of Dion Kazee. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what happened in this altercation. However, we know there's a family in pain. And, like, all we can do is, send our best wishes.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we had time to do that, but that's not really the point of this. The point is that he's dead, and so for us to dig in would be kind of missing the point. But with all that said, wait, did he say white Hispanic?
What?
All right, so I don't know if it's like the tint on my screen or something like that, but I think it was clear to me that dude is brown as fuck. So I don't know, huh?
It looked the same to me. Actually, it might be a little darker on my screen. I have the night mode on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
whatever this dude was, he sure as shit wasn't white. But first of all, before we get into the whole race thing, I do want to say, like, what the fuck is that with the whole mocking brown and the black and brown coalition, right? How does that help anyone? Cops are the problem right here. Cops are the ones being used by white supremacists. Cops of all colors are killing blacks and Latinos at a higher rate. So when you sit there and you want to talk about solidarity amongst people of color, and then we want to push forward to talk about how that this is like some sort of reason why the black and brown coalition doesn't exist, bro, super ignorant, but I don't know.
See, the thing is, man, the term white Hispanic is causing quite a stir. I mean, look, it's stirring the whole pot. Mm-hmm. And look, there's two disappointing factors in this situation. The first one, and it's the obvious one, the dude is obviously not white. I mean, I'm looking at the picture, you're looking at the picture, you guys are looking at the picture. This, look, it's crazy, man. The dude debunked himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, usually you gotta, you see some shit, especially in this day and age, right, with the current administration, we'll say. You'll say it, right, and then you gotta go, oh shit, it's like, at this point, you just assume everything's a lie. Let me go look this up, bro. Oh, dude, put the picture in the fucking thing. You know what I mean? To where he's debunked already. So that's crazy. But yeah, you said there's two reasons. Number two, I see a unfortunately large amount of comments seeming to insinuate that the term white Hispanic is not a real thing. Like there is a problem with his tweet, but it's not with him calling him a white Hispanic, as if that is not a thing, right? So let's go to some of these tweets here. Comedian Tim Young says, "Listen, Tariq, I know you're a race baiter and all, but there's no such thing as a white Hispanic." Wrong. Two. So Hispanics aren't white. You really need to understand this. Mixture.
I mean, you really you have a lot of confidence to say you really need to get.
You really need to understand this, yeah. And here's the best one. This is a kind of a long tweet, and I guess she's Mexican. She ends it with, "Miss me with the white Hispanic. I don't even know what the fuck that is." Well, I'm glad you said that.
Mr. Homie, don't even aim.
I'm glad she's admitting she doesn't know what the fuck that is, because we're about to tell you. Listen, all this shit right here, wrong from top to bottom. From mocking the Black and Brown coalition, to thinking that white Hispanic's not a thing, to thinking that because the cop was Latino or Latinx, that suddenly that means that the Black and Brown coalition doesn't exist, or that relationship is not there. It's all wrong. So check this out. Let me go ahead and help you out with one easy sentence. Latinx and Hispanic is not a race.
Alright, cool. Let's give you guys some definitions real quick. You know what I mean? First, what is an Hispanic? Simple. Spanish-speaking people. Real simple, right?
Easy.
Real clear, cutthroat, to the point, right? Second, Latinx. What is that? People from Latin America. Hey, yo, Robo, where's Latin America? Look, you know what? Don't even bother, man. People got Google.
There it
and
is.
How to be a Latinx in 3 easy steps, man. We should write a book. First, people from Spain are white. You know what I mean? Like, look, they're Europeans, they're white. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Be indigenous. Indigenous, you know, the people that were here before we got discovered, you know, by, say, Europeans. And they're brown. You know what I mean? That's real simple. I'm talking about, like, naturally melanated. Well, I'm not talking about those tanning beds. Shout out to Cheeto, man. And step 3, be black.
Look, if you didn't know, let me drop this quick facts on you real quick. Look,
The quickest.
12.5 million Africans were yanked out of their homes and sold into slavery. 10.7 would survive the trip across the Atlantic Ocean to come to the Americas to be sold as slaves. North America. Now, let me be real clear about something real quick. I am not minimizing the effects of slavery in North America in the United States. We're still living with the after effects of that to this day. So, but here's something that people need to understand: 388,000 of the 4.7 million slaves went to North America. 10.2 million slaves went to Latin America. That's 10.2 African people went to Latin America to work there. So when you look at that, that's the racial breakdown, right? So real quick, you got white Hispanics, you got brown Hispanics with the indigenous peoples, and you definitely have white Hispanics if most of their DNA comes from the Spanish. So why do I see so many melanated people in the comments claiming otherwise?
I mean, look, the first reason is very simple: lack of education. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, a lot of melanated people, you know what I mean, especially if they were like born and raised in the United States, it's not like they're offering, you know, classes in, you know, the American school system about the history of everybody's respective nation. So a lot of them, they go off what their parents tell them, you know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, your parents are not the end all be all. They'll know everything, no matter how much your Latina mom is telling you that she does. So a lot of it is just coming from miseducation, plain and simple. Now, the second reason, this is where it might get a little controversial, where everybody's favorite term, I'm not a racist. Because here's the thing, people want to separate themselves from the term white because it has some implications, right? Simple. Because you hear white, oh snap, you're calling me racist because of, let's face it, let's not remain ignorant of what's going on around the world, especially in the United States. So when it comes down to things like this, and you calling somebody white, in their head, you're calling me a racist Hispanic, because there are Hispanics where white supremacist views. That is a fact, that is true.
100%.
And you know, it's unfortunate. Now, real quick, the fact is that, and especially in this particular post, when the gentleman in question here said a white Hispanic, he know what he was doing. The dude in the picture was not white, but just for throwing that, in this case, adjective, he knew he was gonna stir the pots, as we said earlier.
100%. There's one more reason I think, and I think this one honestly, and this is to throw them a bone here, because I do think it's kind of understandable, and it kind of ties back into the whole education part. I think it has to do with word association, right? Like, what do you think of when you close your eyes and you think white person? Well, you think of someone from the UK, like someone like an actual British person, or man, 2020. I know there's black British people. I know there's black, but I mean like old school medieval times English people, or French people, or Norwegian people, like white. But here's the deal. We said it before. I'll say it again. The Europeans in Spain, even though they speak Spanish, mind blown, they're white. Those are white people. So I get the word association problem, but it is what it is.
So yeah, so what it comes down to is the black and brown coalition fake? Of course not.
Nah.
We couldn't end it even if we tried.
All right, you saw the card. African culture, organic. I'm not gonna belabor the point, but I just want to, in case you already forgot, 10.2 million slaves of the 10.7 that survived the journey went to Latin America. All right, so those people came down, and then even after slavery ended, they're there, starting families, and intermingling with everyone else that were there. So,
I mean, look, man. Can we touch on the African influences and in Spanish culture? I mean, we're talking about our food, our music, our dance. Look, I'm Dominican. Bachata is heavily derived from African music.
Yep.
And I bet you money that a lot of people don't know that. People are like, well, Dominicans invented bachata. I was like, yeah, but what was the inspiration? What was the influence? You know what I mean? What birthed it? For lack of a better term. Now, here's the thing. While not all Latinos, Latinx, I apologize, are not black. The culture we live in is always heavily been influenced by African culture. It's just simply derived from it. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of the situation.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, man, and I hate talking about this because I wish it didn't exist. There is a lot of internalized racism in Latinx communities. You know what I mean? And the Latinx culture. Because let's face it, once the Spaniard, every individual country kind of fought for their own individual independence. You know what I mean? They followed those Spanish traditions. You know what I mean? All the way from religion all the way down to the language we speak. So to say that they're anything but what they already identify as, is it brews a lot of internal hate.
100%. That's exactly accurate. Let me hit this home again. Just said it. Not all Latinx are black, but all Latinx live in a culture that is heavily derived from Africa. And what we mean by internalized racism, this effect of being, it's the after effect of being colonized the way we are. Is if we have already established that yes, you can be a white Hispanic, you can be a white Latinx, and you have white all the way to the blackest African, all in Latin America, and everything in between, right? Then why is it that you could be white and embrace your Spanish heritage? You could be indigenous, whether it's Incan or Taino like us, and still embrace your Spanish heritage, right? Or you can be black and embrace your Spanish heritage with language and food and whatever else. But when we start talking about the African influences, check this out. When you start talking about the African influences, there's no Latin American to where this, by the way, that's going to be like, oh, what? Oh, I didn't know that. We're blowing zero minds here. But the change that we're trying to affect is that when you see a non-black Latino talk about African influences, it's always like over there. It's them. It's oh, their instruments. We use their instruments in our stuff. We use their ingredients in our food.
It's always an external issue, never an internal
It's
situation.
we other the African part of our culture, but we don't other the Spanish part of our culture. You know what I mean? And really, it happens with indigenous too. Like, oh, look at the indigenous peoples of Latin America, bro. It's us. The culture is three parts: Spanish, African, and indigenous. And the sooner our community kind of gets to that, the better off we'll be. Listen, we all suffer from the after effects of colonialism and unfortunately internalized racism and colorism. Fuck, colorism is real and it's insidious. Black people cannot separate themselves or be separated from their blackness, no matter what Biden says. No matter how many Hodge twins, Candace Owens, or Sheriff Clarks there are, that doesn't stop. Fuck them all. That doesn't stop the struggle, right? So in that same vein, well, Latin America has a long way to go to address their internalized racism, to address their colorism. That has zero bearing on whether or not we're in this together. We gotta be. We don't have a choice. So all the Cubans in South Florida that are pro-Trump, all the brown and white Hispanics that think that is different for them, that's not a sign that we're not in this together. That's a sign that they're fucking idiots. Just like Candace Owens a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, we probably just have more fucking idiots on ours, and we can only be better. So
I mean, overall though, at the end of the day, man, we can only try to spread, the knowledge. I mean, because call it whatever you want to call it. This is not an opinion. These are just straight up facts. You know what I mean? All this that we're talking right now are just straight up facts. You can debate us, you can question us, but that is just who we are, what you are. And if you think this is a lie, I challenge you to go down your family tree and tell me that I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me in the comments below. And and if I am, I'll tell you, like, okay, high five. But you're not, so what can I tell you?
And just for anybody, I felt like I had to say this because somebody got the wrong idea the other day. When I fight for the acceptance and the acknowledgement that the African part of our culture is not over there, it's within us, I'm not calling myself black. I don't identify as black. I consider myself more indigenous, but whether it's indigenous or black or whatever, that's all of us. So,
with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come follow us in our individual channels. AFRO-C for Robo, Cypher World for yours truly, and we out.
Deuce.